Hey there, welcome back. Interesting topic, how to manage user roles. So, can we manage users role like ESG messaging sent? So, in one of the previous session, while taking the recent batch, one of the fellow attendee, he raised one question like when we are going to use an HTTP sender adapter, automatically a role is available for us. User role ESB messaging sent. Okay, so this is a standard role by SAP which is added to the HTTP adapter. What this role primarily does, it actually sends a request to our cloud integration. And can we have our own custom roles as well? Yes, that is also possible. So how to do that and how to configure that as well. So we have to come to this monitoring section, and when you come under this security section, manage security, there is a dedicated tile, user role. Okay, so when you come here, you will find this particular role is already added by default. Okay, by SAP, you can add your own roles. So just click add. Let's call it test role, and we will just see what is going to happen. Testing role. The moment you add a role, what will happen? This role will be available at the BTP cockpit, where the entire roles are managed or maintained centrally. Okay, so now we have just created this particular role. This is a dummy role. Okay, so when you come here under the roles, you have to just click on this refresh it. So we will able to see this particular role is now part of the entire list. So since it's a big list, you have to click on more, come down, further come down. Probably at last we will able to see, right? Okay, so the role is just added over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete it. I don't want to create anything unnecessary information. Okay, probably I can just wipe it out later. But yeah, since I have already created a role as ADP messaging.send. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this particular role inside my integration flow. So if you see here, ADP messaging send is already there. Okay, when you click here, you will find more information around this. Okay, so we do not have to assign to any role collection. We have just created a role. That's it. Okay, now what we are going to do, we will create an integration flow. Okay, with the HTTP adapter. And here now what we have to do, you have to just change the user role actually. Okay, now we do not need this ESB. We can select our own custom role, whatever we have created. Okay, so I'm just canceling it since I have already implemented this in another integration flow just to avoid to break any ongoing integrations. So here the same integration flow I have copied, and this is the role I have added over here. Now if I try to access using this particular role, how can I do that? So now what I have to do, I would be needing a client ID and secret. So how it actually assign basically. So we have created a custom role. Now we have to create an instance, okay, as integration flow. And here we have to create, while creating an instance, we have to assign this role, okay, the role which we have just now created. Okay, this role we have to assign while creating an instance, and using this client ID and secret, we will be accessing this endpoint of our CI. Okay, so this is what we have to do it. Now, if I go to the integration flow, I will just take the endpoint. Get the endpoint first. Integration flow. This has been already deployed. Let me deploy it once again. And we will be taking the endpoint. Application. The endpoint is not coming over here. Let me refresh this page. Okay. integration process. So let's just show you. This is the endpoint which we are going to get actually. Okay, I'm just pasting over here just for our reference. Is the endpoint underscore role. I'm just again going back to the integration flow. This is the endpoint v43 camel expression slash role. Camel expression slash role. Okay. Now, if I try to access this with the previous client ID and secret, I'm going to get an HTTP 403. Okay, it's forbidden. So how to avoid this? What we have to do now, since we have created this role, what we have done the previous step actually, here we have created this role. Okay, and this role is already registered in the cockpit as well. This role is also available in the cockpit. Here we can see our role is available at the just at the end. ADP messaging sent. Now what we have to do, we have to come again to the instances and subscription. Here we will create an instance. Okay, and integration process and plan would be our integration flow, because we are going to access our integration flow. Okay, and let's call it test. Let's call it test ADP. Okay, and then we can click next. And here now I don't want the grant type as this. I would be needing the grant type as ADP. This is what I'm going to ADP messaging.send. Just oh sorry, a grant type would be same client credentials. My bad. We would be removing the role actually. My bad. Grant type will be client credentials basically, and then we just click on create. So now it is going to create an instance for us, and after creating an instance, we'll be creating a new client ID and secret, and using that client ID and secret, then we will be accessing this. So now this client ID and secret will be mapped to the role which we have created. Okay, and this is the one which we have assigned in our integration flow. So this ADP messaging.send will be assigned to an instance test ADP. Okay, and here now we are going to create new service key. Let's say for test underscore, or let me call it like ADP key. Okay, we will just create key for this. So how it is happening? See, this instance is now is mapped to the role. After that, we have to generate a client ID and secret. And now using this client ID and secret, we will be accessing our endpoint. So this client ID and secret is all set. I will just copy and paste it over here. We will just extract the client ID and secret from this. This is the client ID. I'm going to put here. And here is the client ID and the secret. This is what I have to put over here. I will just send it now. Now, if you see here, it is now successfully executed. So this is how we have to implement the user role. If you want to use your own custom users, you can implement in this manner. So after creating a role, that role needs to be assigned to your instance, and then you have to generate a client ID in secret, and that is how you can implement the role. So I hope you have found this little interesting. Thanks for watching.